Hello, hello everyone. Corey here, coming in to do a quick live that I intended on being in here for 5:30, but it didn't happen. Trying to get in before the hockey game started, before the Oilers hockey game started, but here I am. So I'm just bringing up on my phone so I can see if anyone's here or if everyone. I'm competing with the hockey game. So I'm just making sure it's on my phone so I can see where I am and if I am live. And I'm sure all of my older fans are now into the hockey game. And yes, I will be watching it as well in a few moments. But I did just post the energy update on YouTube. So that's now available. So if you follow my YouTube, and if you don't, go subscribe. This is on Facebook and on YouTube at the same time. So if you're watching on YouTube and you're like, well, why are you talking about YouTube? But if you're on, yay, thank you, Linda. I am on YouTube. Thank you. And I am on Facebook. There's Marnie. Hello, Marnie. And so I just posted earlier today the energy update for this week. It is on YouTube. The sound is off and it sounds kind of echoey. And it was partly because they start mowing the grass right when I start to record. The other thing that was happening was my mic that sits right here was actually up in the air and I didn't realize it. My granddaughters had moved my microphone out of the spot, so my microphone was up in the air. So it is a little echoey, but I didn't want to lose the message and I couldn't fix it. The message was too big of a message to get out today that I didn't want to lose it. So it is up, it is available. It is a little echoey, but and it's funny because in the very beginning I talk about the distractions, the noises around, but listen to it anyway if you're there. It does give us a lot of it gives us a lot of kind of information about this week's energy and what it is like and what we have going on. And it speaks a lot about frequency um and how we can really truly be feeling that lower vibrating energy as well, but also be connecting to that higher frequency. And I speak about walking through our own personal hells, and sometimes there's a bypass. Sometimes there's the opportunity to take the bridge over the top, and we can take the bridge over the top. So it's all in there. Go listen to it. It's hard for me to know what was in there now because I haven't really listened back through it, but it is there. So, but I just wanted to quickly stop in. It's been a few weeks since I have done a live. I have been trying to do some energy updates and some videos in the reels to get those out because they take me a lot less time than doing the live. But I feel like I need to connect this evening. I was very fortunate today. I got to go have lunch with one of my friends from Slave Lake who lives this way, and I have not seen her in years. She was one of my clients, and it was so nice to be able to connect with one of my dear people in my life and from the over the years. And so it was so nice. It was just so nice to be with people and to be with somebody and be outside the house. Now, last week I had my sister-in-law here visiting for a week, and so we had a whole week of adventures and fun. And then my cousin, and then Corey's niece came for a night. So it's been a lot of visiting. I've been very fortunate to have a lot of visitors in the past little bit. And I have to say, it feels very nice. And I think it's such an important thing for us to be able to connect to people and make those connections and spend time with people and moving out. And especially because we've had a lot of really odd weather patterns that's been going on. And we've been feeling the effects of the weather. So there's been a lot of effects from the wind. I know for myself, it affects me drastically. I don't know how many other people notice it, but I notice and feel everything, of course, of the weather. And it's been so crappy. But yeah, but I did just want to stop in. So I'm just letting some people get in here. Um, and just, if we got, like I said, if we got everyone in here, a lot of people are watching the Oilers game. And so I want to open up with a card. I just feel that opening up with a card is what we need right now. And we're in a quarter moon. We just came through the new moon energy. I did post the new moon energy update as well. You can still listen to that one. It still has energy that's still influencing and affecting us at this time as well. So you want to listen to that one, go ahead. Go ahead, listen. Um, Today was supposed to be an absolutely beautiful day here. And all of a sudden, this freaking storm blew in and it started to rain again. And it was passed by really quickly. But that's kind of what this energy like. There's a level of unpredictability. And I said it in the yearly predictions as well. I'm like, there's such a level of expect the unexpected, level of, you know, it's like, um, everything can change just like that. And we know that happens all the time, but we're really seeing it. But what I really spoke about in this week's energy was the veils of illusions. And there's veils here. And this card is the card that I just chose, and it's soul connection. It's Vedoma. And Vedoma really truly has walked through the veils of illusions. And when all veils of illusions fall, then we're able to connect into our deepest truth. We're able to get into that place of where we can connect to what is the deepest truth. Beyond the veil is our deepest truth. And when we can get beyond the veil, then we can see our deepest truth. And so many truths we don't realize until we actually get home, until we return to spirit. And a key thing and so soul connection is when we really learn to be able to be so connected to the soul, because the soul has been beyond the veil. The soul has been home. The soul has come from that place. Our human self has only existed in this one life, right where we are now. So the biggest thing when I work in, communicating to loved ones and speaking to spirit and spirit guides and all of those places that I channel into is, especially in loved ones in sessions, it's the things that they know now that they're on the other side. And they'll often say, I wish I had not have held on so long. I wish I had have said I'm sorry. Those type of things come up. And of course, it's always much more descriptive than that. But they'll usually come back with a sense of, I was so tied to this. I was so connected to this. I held on to this for so long. And only when I returned here could I truly see. And so once we return to soul self and not the human self, that soul self communicates the human experience back. But it's when we're there, and it's if I hadn't have held on, or if I had have let go of holding on to that, my life would have been different. If I had have apologized, whatever that may have been, and I'm just in the moment, I just can't think about the experiences. But it's it's about we learn so much from communicating through spirit. And I believe for myself, one of the deepest kind of healings that I really stepped into is recognizing that sense of why wait? Why do we wait until we die? Why do we wait to return home to to talk great about people or to say good things about people? Why is it that only at the celebration of life do we say the things that we should have said to people while they're here? Or only in their passing do we then communicate? And not everyone, but do we then, say, oh, I wish I had have said this, or I wish I had have done that. And so the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, we can't change it, but they give us opportunities to really, truly make the changes while we're left here on earth. And so that as we're left here on earth, we get the chance to then carry them with us, carry those loved ones with us, so that they can see through us the changes that we make from being able to really listen to spirit and to feel that connection to spirit. You often will see in personal relationships that people enter into with themselves after we lose a loved one, is that you'll see people then say, oh my god, I didn't realize how much somebody has done for me. I didn't realize I didn't realize that they did all this or they did all that, because we take each other for granted. We just take people for granted, and then we stop seeing the big pit. We stop seeing all of the things that were being done for us because it becomes habitual, becomes habit. And spirit brings forth those messages and just a great appreciation and great love, and also our spirit connecting to them on the other side brings forth this message. Now I don't know where this is coming from right now, but I did pull the card soul connection. And so this week we have a lot of that, like I said, breaking through the veils of illusions. But I really have this overwhelming sense. And the reason why I'm so slow in communicating this is because I'm listening, because somebody is speaking to me from the other side about this. And I'm like, this wasn't in my conversation that I was going to talk about when I came in here, but somebody is talking about that. Um, and so that sense of, when we look back at our relationships, when we're actively living together as human, spirit to spirit here on earth, it's so important, or it should be so important, that we see the big and the little things, that we capture and we acknowledge and appreciate the things that people do for us, even if they have other things they do that are not, you know not great, or they get on our nerves, or whatever it is we stop seeing the things that they often do when we have an annoyance that gets on our nerves, and then we focus on what's wrong and not what's right. So I have somebody coming through for me today who's really truly wanting to really give this message. I don't know who it's for. I don't know who's here who needs to hear this. So I'm just going to give it like it's a general message, but it literally is somebody on the other side. And I'm wanting to close off because I'm like, this is not what I want to talk about, even though I'm a medium. But I have someone coming through from the other side that is speaking about being appreciated. I just feel like it's like all the things that they wish they could have told you, or they wish they could have said, and they didn't tell you while they were here. I feel like they would have nitpicked and picked you apart, and probably didn't give credit where credit was due, and they didn't tell you what you needed to hear. Now they do keep showing me doilies, like crocheted or knitted doilies, and I'm seeing crocheted doilies, like tablecloths doilies. So someone who would have either crocheted, knit, some sort of tapestry, maybe, but I just keep seeing the weaves and the threads being put together. And so whoever's here that feels like this might be for you, then I hope it is, and it resonates with you. Take it, claim it. And if somebody's really connected to the crocheting or to the tapestry work that I'm picking up, please do speak up. But I am feeling this person really truly coming through, and they've been pushing through. No fucking way. Lisa, no way. Okay. Okay, I'm not watching the Oilers game because of your mother then. I guess your mother sent me in here today. So she knitted and crocheted. Okay. And now do you still have her crocheted pieces or some sort of connection to her that way, like a crochet? So she tells me you still have pieces, and I don't know if you have something either spread out, or you have something put in something, or you're turning something of her work into something like a wall art, or putting it together. But she says, remember the work that goes into crocheting. Remember all that little intricate and all that work that goes into crocheting. Um, and she wants you to just think about that for a moment, and how, sometimes she would be crocheting, she would be doing her work, she would be doing those things, and there would be like little areas where she maybe messed up, but she'd have to put it together. And but she said she just kept going. All those pieces, if she stopped, it wouldn't get done. All of those pieces just had to be put together. And so she's shown me crocheting, and I feel like she's crocheting, and she's shown me, and she's very much like she wished she had told you more, that you're doing a good job, that she was very proud of you, that you were accomplished, that I feel like she could nitpick somehow, like, and not even probably intentionally. It was kind of looking at what could go wrong instead of what could go right. Many sweaters I wear often. She did make mistakes and kept going. Okay. Right. And she says, yes, there's always going to be some sort of mistakes. You have to keep going. You have to keep going. No stop. You got to keep going. And she's adamant that I tell you, you got to keep going. And she wishes she had encouraged you more, and that she had inspired you more, and that she had a kind of pushed you more and into not to be afraid, not to have doubt, but to have faith in yourself, and to never give up. She said, there's just all of these little pieces and all of these little things. And she says, you've got to just put it together and let it go. Put it together and just send it out. So I feel like, Lisa, this is around your creation, around your work, around all of those things. She says, just get it done and get it out there. Just get it done and get it out there. Let yourself go, free yourself, because a lot of the insecurities or doubt thoughts or whatever that is for you, you're actually picking up from the sense of, I almost feel like she could be like a little bit of a perfectionist in herself, in the way that she communicated, but she wasn't always a perfectionist in other areas of her life. Um, and my mouth keeps getting dry. She keeps showing me like a dry mouth. I don't know why, but my mouth keeps drying out. And it's like she keeps stopping, and I got to keep like my mouth. And she's been trying to get your attention for a while now. And you're not paying attention. You're paying attention, but not paying attention. You're not heeding what she needs you to listen to. So I guess she came to me and made me get in here to give you the message so that you would listen. And so, beyond all the veils of illusions is truth. And your deepest truth. And your sense of accomplishment and your sense of success, and what it means for you to be that success, or to be your own success story, is already there. And you have to let yourself be it. Um, and she tells me there's a celebration, like she's there for the celebration, or she's coming for the celebration. She's there for the celebration, or she's coming for the celebration. And to know that she's there for that celebration. And she's always going to be there. And I don't know what you're painting. It feels like you're almost like, I don't spray painting something as well. And it's not painting. You're going to be painting something else, or spray painting, covering something up, doing something, but and it's not in your work. It feels like something that you're either refurbishing or redoing. She says, once you get busy doing something like that, you're going to have full clarity. So this is her big message to you. There may be mistakes. Keep going. Just keep going. Stop worrying about the mistakes. Stop worrying about the little things. Stop trying to make things perfect. Just keep going. It is her old furniture. Okay. She gives you full permission. She says, go do that. Get that furniture done. Spray that furniture, whatever, wanting to paint it. Get it painted. Get it done. She said, it's in your head. It's in your thoughts. Go do it, Lisa. Get it done. Get it done, she tells you. Get it done. And start painting. Just get it done. Just do it because you want to. It's not her stuff anymore. It's your stuff. And she says she don't need that stuff anymore. You need that stuff. You want that stuff. And she says, so do what you want. Do what you want. Don't think that you have to please her anymore, because you've more than pleased her in life. You more than pleased her in life. You gave her nothing but love. You gave her so much to be proud of, and she is beyond proud of you. So know that. And thank you, Mama, for because I'm like, why am I even going in live tonight? Going to watch the Oilers game, but here we are. And then I thought, oh, I'm going to share the energy update stuff that I put in my video today, because it's hard to hear it, but I can't even remember that. And all this interruption kept coming in, and I could hear spirit coming in. I could hear this voice talking to me. And it was like, oh, is this just a message? No, it's not just a message. And so, Lisa, the card that I actually pulled for it was Soul Connection, which is Vidoma. And she is walking into her magic. All the veils of illusions are dropped. We know the truth beyond the veil. So you know the full truth. And so I'm going to read you the little message that comes with this. And this card can relate to anyone or connect to anyone, but I just need a pair of glasses. The soul connection. The greatest gift is trusting you know the answer, but denying the whispers and the flags will always leave you questioning how and why. Healing restores the confidence to trust. And that is the little phase, the little piece that just goes with this card. And so I'm not going to read the rest. You know the rest because you know the answers. You know, and I wrote this in one of my books, which is not out yet. When in doubt, go right. You know the right answer. Doubt is never your truth. Doubt never speaks truth. Fear never speaks the truth. To feel afraid speaks the truth. To step into the unknown speaks the truth. But there is such a shift and such a change once we start to just let go and release and just trust the universe. Trust that there's a greater plan than the plan that your head tries to get you to go backwards, right? Your mother is very proud of you, Lisa. Just keep going. Just get going. Keep going. That's what she got for you. So thank you. Wow. Okay, for anyone just coming in, that was such an unplanned, unexpected message. I was not planning on really coming in tonight, but I really wanted to come in tonight. I really wanted to connect. But I was down on the couch and I was trying to get in like 5:30, 5 o'clock. I said to my husband, I'm going to go up and I'm going to go live. And he's like, okay. And then like 5:45, I'm still sitting there. And by 6 o'clock, I finally came on live. And I'm feeling the really wanting to be connected to people, spend time with people. But as soon as I start speaking about what I thought I wanted to communicate, this voice starts speaking to me and start connecting. And so it was a message for Lisa. Lisa, by Grace Go I, who some needed this message. And so yeah, so I'm led by spirit. And if you've seen my reel today, on the reel that I put on Instagrams, on Facebook, I also speak about being led by spirit. Being led by spirit when my sister-in-law was here, and probably can see it, but over here on this side table that I have, there's a little glass crystal thing on the light. It's Aries. And I was guided to the thrift store and guided in to look at a figurine. And then I heard, open the box. There's a box, open the box. And it was these two zodiac signs. And it was Scorpio in the first one. And then I instantly, I'm like, it's going to be Aries in the next one. And I just heard, open the box. And I opened the box and it was an Aries. And then I heard the chuckle. And I'm an Aries and my sister-in-law is a Scorpio. And these were the only two crystal statues that were in these boxes that go on those lights that were there, those that are sketched inside, that are done with the laser or whatever. Those were the only two that was actually there. And so I'm always being moved by spirit, guided by spirit, listening to spirit. I never know what's coming, but these are the things that we get. So that really wasn't in the plan. So let me pull a card for everyone. Tears and gratitude. So love you, Lisa. My camera keeps falling. I can't get it right. Same thing with my speaker. So if you're listening to the YouTube energy update for this week, my camera was way up in the air and I never noticed because that was my grandchildren. Bless their little hearts. So this will be a card for everyone. So we pulled Desired Reflection, Evangeline. And so this is from my Everyday Goddess Oracle cards. And Desired Reflection, if you were to look at that, the world is our mirror reflection. And so, where we look into the world, we'll be able to see whatever we want to see. When we look into our own reflection of ourselves, When we see ourselves in a reflection and we connect into whether it's negative or positive, our sense of self-esteem and self-worth and what we believe to be true when we look into that reflection is often coming from the thoughts that become words from somebody else from throughout life, and we believe it to be true. And so what is reflecting back to us is pixels. What creates the image of what we see is based on memories and our own emotions. So we can see and create whatever reality we want to see. And so we can look in and we can see, you know, only the bad things. We can see all of our flaws and not see our great points. And so the same things happens on a, if we look into the world, if how we're feeling inside of ourselves, it's often the reflection, and we find evidence to be able to validate everything that we are telling us. And so if we're telling ourselves that everything is going wrong, then everything will go wrong. If we're saying everything is horrible, the world is horrible, people are horrible, we'll find horrible people, horrible things, because we get back that reflection. So you find evidence. You can find the evidence to validate any feeling, any sense, or any reflection that you have, and you'll be able to tell yourself that story and that truth. And it's all created through thought, through that ability to get thought. And so the desired reflection is truly about the light and about being able to look into our own light and to see our own light. It's easy to communicate to our shadow, it's easy to communicate to our fears. It's not always so easy to stay with our divine self. It's not so easy to believe we are divine, to see that we have a divine essence. And this week's energy really is about us connecting to the divine, getting to a sense of the divine, and being able to feel and see our own light, being able to move beyond to get to the place of creating our own sense of heaven on earth. Now, what does that mean? It means making the choices and decisions that move us into the place of where we move beyond our struggles, where we move beyond our complications, our difficulties that we create in not making a choice or living in our fear stories, being afraid. And I speak about, love is one spectrum of high frequency. And it's like we all reaching that sense of, for love. We want to do this. We want to get to the place of feeling love, to love our jobs, to love ourselves, self-love. But it's not about just about self-love. It is about authenticity and getting to that place of connecting and being okay, returning to our authentic self. Hence why I've wrote all of my books. Um, and that holds so much of our truth, and it holds so much of what is available to us. But if you were to break love down, love can be ugly. Love can be ugly, right? When we are in the reflection of our own light and in the light, is that it does reveal, it does show us the things that we are constantly and consistently doing to ourselves that causes us to live in our own misery, to create our own misery, to live in our struggles. But it's not always so easy to change them, to make the changes and to bring about those changes. And so it's harder to stay with the divine because the divine speaks pure truth. It's like being with the grandmother or the crone energy, the guide that just tells you as it tells you the real truth and not fluffing it up. There's a real truth. And so down, love stripped down back to its authentic, is that if you were to think about times when you've had to do the right things and do something that's out of love, it's like disciplining your children. It's that same thing. It's like, because I love you, I can't let you have all of your own way. And that's kind of what the divine does to us. Because I love you, I can't let you go. I can't let you go into that dangerous situation. And you may dislike me. The child may dislike the parent because the parent is saying no. I'd rather be your enemy right now. I'd rather be the one who, I'd rather be that person who who says no to you than the person who lets you get hurt. That there's a possibility that this is not safe for you. And my job is to protect you. My job is to keep you protected. My job is to keep you safe. So the love of the divine often removes us from difficult situations that we're unwilling to remove ourselves from. And so when a door closes and a situation ends or something is revealed to us that we've been, turning our blind eye to, that is in the light. And it's doing it out of love. And gutted down love does not feel good because nobody wants to see somebody else sad or upset. But when we have to do something for the right reasons, then it's and we know it's going to not make somebody feel good in the moment, but it's going to bring them to their best place, and it's going to bring them to the healthiest of relationships, the healthiest of life. It's going to teach them morals and self-respect and to stand up for themselves. It's going to teach you the virtues. Then that's what love does. And so love contains and holds a truth. Love does not hold back. And that is where unconditioned love comes in. And that's the energy that we have. And when we can strip back love, which is what this week's energy does, is that it reveals to us the essence of what we are holding on to. And it's harder to stay in the light. It's just like it's harder to sit in a truth. It's harder to be honest with ourselves. It's harder to be honest with somebody else, right? It's harder to do that than it is to be able to, just simply say, okay, I'll just fluff this up or not make a choice. It's definitely hard. It's harder to do. This was written on a bench that I've seen last week. It's harder to do something than it is to do nothing. Or no, it's harder to do nothing than it is to do something. It's harder to do nothing than it is to do something. So if we sit back and we do nothing, or we don't speak that truth, or we don't do what we need to do, we don't say what we need to say in the places where we need to, if we don't stand up and into, stopping that child from going to that place, if we don't break free, if we don't let those door closes, if we stay too long in unhealthy relationships in those places because we don't want to rock the boat, we don't want to upset anyone, we don't want to hurt feelings, we don't want to do those things, then is it really not hurting feelings? Is it not really rocking the boat? Misery loves company. And it's so easy to pretty up our personal hell. You can get into your personal hell and you can make it as pretty as you want. And it's easy to stay, and you can convince yourself that it's true and that it's true light and that it is true direction and that it's true love. But is it really? But is it really? And so we have a lot of energy this week that is really speaking this to us. And it's telling us that when we are in the divine and with the divine light, it's like that grandmother energy is telling us a truth that we don't really want to see. But it is about revealing and breaking down all of that narrative so that we can break free. And so that's our desired reflection. So then wherever we look, no matter where we look, no matter what direction, we can see the new perspectives, but we can see light and we can see darkness. We can see choice. We can see the possibilities. We can see the opportunities. But the more honest we become with that self, and the more that we allow things to unfold in our lives and to trust the process, which is hard. It is hard to trust the process and not control the process. Trusting versus controlling is a whole different ballgame. But if to listen to the whole narrative of that, go to my weekly message and listen to it there, because it does contain and hold the whole message that goes with that little spectrum that I just said, right? Sometimes you got to become the bad guy, right? Because you can't always be the hero. Sometimes you got to become the bad guy. You got to become the party pooper. You got to become that. And it's not always the easy, but that's actually the place of love, right? Sometimes the most loving things we can do is set people free. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is to let a door close. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is to be honest with ourselves. And that love radiates. And over the past few years, I've had to be in a lot of those positions. I have experienced a lot of those. I've seen a lot of doors close, and I've had to be very brutally honest with myself. What works? What doesn't work? and to get to this place and to be right here, um, is, and to be able to fully trust, um, becomes a beautiful part of the journey. Lisa, love from the divine is given as freely as taking a breath, right? We just believe we have to earn it. Yes, absolute truth. Yes, we don't have to earn it. It's freely, freely given. It's freely giving. So that was the card that we just had. Um, so if anyone's missed the beginning of this, I don't know how, how I ended up here. Spirit was guiding me, and I ended up having a message, and it was a message actually for Lisa Star Francis that came through, that her mother communicated to me, and I had to give that message. I've been going around doing this for days, randomly handing out messages. And so our second card that goes with this energy that we're in this week is purity, and we have rebirth. And so this is like our ground zero. And so in this space, in this time, there is all things happening at once. We can be in an ending and a new beginning. We could be experiencing the past. And so our moments of joy. And so what this experience, what this energy this week is doing is that it is reminding us that when we finally get off the teeter-totter, when we make those choices and decisions, that when we can do that, is that's when we can cross over and we can get into the higher energy. But when we're in doubt, when we're in fear, when we're not making decisions, or when we're not letting those doors close or those endings happen, and we're in the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, what if energy, stuck, not making choices, um, or when we're holding on so tight and not letting go, is that lower vibrating, that lower frequency, not vibrating, I don't want to say that, that lower frequency, that lower energy is what lets in all of the doubt and seep in. And that we, to move beyond that is in actually getting to the place of where we can say, yes, I can do this, or no, I can't do this. And being able to then make a decision, and being able to hold on to the joy of those new beginnings. So it's imagine once you decide you're having a child, and once you start cultivating that child, and that child is in there, it's like now you got to give birth to that child. And no matter how afraid you are, no matter how scared you are, no matter how much pain people tell you, because people tell you all the freaking horrible things, that you have to get through that. You have to give birth to that child. That child has to get out. And so you're going to have to go through whatever it takes to be able to get through that. But the moment you're through it, and the moment the child enters in, you get to experience joy. And joy is the reward, right? And happiness and the celebration of that. It is a frequency of joy that enters in. And so every time we finally move ourselves from that place of fear, and we move beyond the fear, and we know we got to do the hard stuff, and we get to the other side of that. When we get to the other side, even if nothing has really worked out, there is a sense of accomplishment. It's a sense of knowing, okay, there's now a freedom. I can breathe. I have let this out. I have let this now. I've now spoken my truth, or I've let the door close, or I've let that happen, or I've finally said the yes, or I finally have fully signed the dotted line and agreed to do something, agreed to step up, agreed to be here. And it's like, okay, now I can still be afraid, but now I can be in joy. And when we can be in joy is when all the flow of all of the beautiful things begin to come in. As long as we're in the waiting game, as long as we sit in the waiting room, and we're getting impatient and frustrated, it's just like, okay, I might as well just sit here and suffer and struggle and be in concern. But once we get up and we move, right? And so it is a week of where we see ourselves having to finally make those choices. And it's not that all the results are there, is when you finally just say yes in your head, or when you make that choice and then you start to say yes or no to you, all else begins to flow through. There's a ripple effect that happens. Angela, yes, I'm so scared about retiring with the next couple of years. Ugh, yeah. And so maybe ask yourself a different question around that. So instead of telling yourself, I'm scared, right? I'm scared about retiring with the next couple of years. And so ask yourself, what is it about? So here's your switch. What is it about retiring that scares me? What is it about retirement that scares me? That's the question, Angela. And when you sit down with that and you start to allow the divine self, allow yourself to get into the light with that, you'll write out all of these reasons of what scares you. And then I want you to create a little T bar and put down, you know, what is real, what is not real. What is false evidence appearing real, which is the acronym for fear, false evidence appearing real, and what is my real fears. So what is my real fears? And separate them and divide them so that you can move out, so that you can clear out all of the doubt, all of what comes from our old brain trying to get us back to that comfort, all that stands in your way. And you can clear what stands in your way and you can see what is your truth. And when you can see what is your truth, then you can work on those things that are your truth. What are those real truths that are concerns that you may have? So then it moves from a fear story to legit concerns. And if I have these concerns, then I can address these concerns one by one, and I can address these concerns and I can find solutions instead of constantly sitting in the problem and just always telling myself I'm scared about something. But what is it that I'm scared of? What it is about retirement that scares me? That's your question. And when you switch that around, what you do is you start connecting, you start taking another pathway into into running like a different program. You're getting into a different part of the brain, different programming, a different mindset, and you will gain so much clarity from being able to just simply make that shift. That's how I coach people. So, for those who don't know, I'm not just a psychic medium. That's not my only work. I use my gifts in there, but I have the whole more than existing program of where I actually train coaches. Um, and I work as a coach, a spiritual emotional consultant coach. I help people through those transitions in their lives and being able to move through any changes and transitions that are happening. That's a big part of what I get to do. It's an honor to be able to do that because that's a journey I have walked. And so we use a lot of tools and ways to be able to get there. But coaching finds the right questions to be able to help you to be able to rearrange those thoughts. And neurolinguistics program is we build new programming. And so we break down the old programming, we take out the old, we release the old programming, and we build a new programming. Thank you, Lisa. And so to be able to then gain the clarity to know that when you make your choices and decisions, you're certain about those choices and decisions. And those choices and decisions are then only coming from you. They're your choices, they're your decisions. They're not somebody else's thoughts in your heads, they're not somebody else's opinions, they're not somebody else's views. You're fully thinking for yourself from the right version of yourself, from the truest version of you, so that then you know exactly what you want to do and why, and you know why you're doing it. And it just makes life a whole lot easier. You are so welcome. So welcome. Yeah. Thanks for posting that because it also gives me an opportunity to share that. So thank you. So last card to go with this energy, so then you can all go watch the hockey game, is The Way Home, Amy. And this is about ending. So we started with the 0. Now she's not the last card on deck. She's 15. She is in the mother energy because the ending is not really the end. So the way home is basically another new beginning, right? And there's just we got so much to learn. We're always learning. There's so many lessons and these opportunities and moments in our lives and the mishaps and the ups and the downs, they're all opportunities and they're all there to guide us, to give us lessons, to get us to redirect our thoughts, to change our path, to change our direction. But once we connect into the divine and into spirit, is that me is me backwards and me forward. And so we can be walking backwards and think we're going forward. We can be constantly stuck somewhere. But it's when we allow something to end, when we allow, that old conversations with ourselves to end, when we let go, when we surrender into something, when we set ourselves free, we begin to then walk in closer to coming back into ourselves. Now, this being also kind of like the death card, is that anything that's ending ties us into a death story. But a death story and a new beginning is always happening. And so the crossing of the rainbow bridge also represents that of stepping into our light, stepping into our truth. And when we begin to step into our truth, when we begin to step into ourselves, is that it's when we begin to radiate. It is when we begin to be able to see all colors, all things, all happening at once. It's the ripple effect of the um, of our light radiating in different directions and like a prism, right? It's just like a prism, and life is like a prism. And so yes, we are in a time of seeing endings. We're seeing the veils of illusions breaking down, but we're also in a time of new beginnings. We're always in endings. We're always in new beginnings. Every moment, the fast as I talk, there's an ending happening. The last moment is now gone. And it's amazing how we can be stuck in an old moment when the moment is no longer here. So, are we going to spend our lives and our days being stuck in the old moments when that moment is now an ending? That moment is not here. So, if we mishap, we messed up, we did whatever, why do we hold on to that moment instead of moving on and moving forward? And my message this morning is so clear to that as well, because my audio is not great. My mic is there. They're out mowing my grass, but mowing our grass outside, and the lawnmowers are loud, but I kept going. It's imperfect. If I had to walk back and then tell myself all day, oh my God, that's horrible. Should I take this down? Should I not? Um, is there a problem with that? Is that good enough? Then I would be holding on to that. But instead, I moved on. The message is out, it's done, it's there, and it's part of the message. It literally is part of the message. And so life gives us many opportunities that becomes our lessons, our knowing, our guidance, whatever it may be, and also our blessings. And so the way home to us and the way home to our truth is through having to let die the old, having to let the versions of self go, having to let go of the self that was in different situations, or let go of different situations that we're ready to let go of. But it's about letting old versions of ourselves just leave and begin to step into and walk forward into this version that is here, right now. This is the one waiting for you. This is the one waiting for you to begin from here. This is the one that is the closest to everything you could have dreamed or everything you could have manifest, is all close, is the one that's here right now. And that's where we begin from. And so that's what I got for you. I feel very kind of all over the place because I got lots of spirit talking to me tonight. So I'm feeling a lot of spirit energy. I'm not feeling like I personally don't have what it takes to give the messages tonight. But I am feeling a lot of spirit. So there's a real connection tonight. So if you're feeling it, if you're connecting to it, if you got all these thoughts that are coming in, like saying maybe, I feel like I need to go for a walk, or I feel like I need to go here, or I feel like I need to go there. Know that that's spirit often guiding us. And only when you know yourself can you know that that what is your thought and what is a thought of something outside of you, of energy that is trying to get in. Because it sounds like our thought, it sounds like our voice, it feels like it's our thought, it feels like it's coming from us, it feels like it's coming from our mind, but it's spirit working through us. And spirit is always working through us, and we have our own spirit, we have our own soul. And when we learn to connect and communicate to that, you'll know the difference between what is the shadow and what is that divine trying to speak to you. So the divine is really trying to communicate. The soul self is really trying to talk to us right now. And we can go blah, 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 I don't want to listen. Or we can begin to really listen to what is needed to be heard and what actions we need to take from there. I send you so much love. Have a beautiful night, and I will be speaking to you again very soon. Much love. Bye bye.